Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be playing Ice Barrier and I waited a long time for this support, so I'm really excited about it. Now let's go over the ratios real quick. Starting off with Hexa Spirit, people play between 1 and 3 copies of this card. I like playing 2 because the main normal summon of the deck is Deep Sea Diva and it's way better than just summoning the Hexa Spirit, although you could technically cut Deep Sea Diva, play a playset of this card and just consider it as a decent normal summon. There's also 2 copies Mirror Mage, and now a lot of people will say, dude, you need to play a 3rd copy of Mirror Mage, what are you doing? But I have one issue with playing a 3rd copy. If you play a 3rd copy, you're gonna see it in your opening hand a lot of the times, and I actually don't want that to happen because this card is better off being in the graveyard instead, because when you normal summon it, you can only ring it off for Almirage and search out the Monster Reborn card, which is the Freezing Chains, and if that gets negated on the search, you actually don't have a turn. While in comparison, if you go for Deep Sea Diva, you can still get negated, but if you don't, you actually set up more plays together with one more body and a search still. So it's way better to not go for the normal summon of Mirror Mage. That is why I play only 2 copies. Okay, let's move on. Also have 1 copy Spellbreaker. This stops your opponent from being able to activate any spell card. Playset of the Reviewer. This pays some of the tuner from the deck, which is really nice. 2 copy Speaker. This is a good extender. We also play 1 copy of the General Wayne. We only need 1. 1 copy General Raikou. This card is really nasty when you summon it during your opponent's turn with, for example, the level 10 that we just received, the Lancia. We also have playset of the Georgias. Gorgeous. I don't know how to pronounce it, but either way, this is one of the best cards and it's my favorite from the archetype. And we also played playset of the Medallion, which searches out any Ice Barrier monster. 1 copy wins, and this is really important for the combos, and 1 copy of the Freezing Chains, which just brings back a monster. And the one card I'm actually not playing in this build is the new trap card that was just added. Hold on, let me just find it real quick. It's the Frozen Domain. Now you could play this, it's not too bad. You're better off searching out one of the spell cards instead of this, and it's not really gonna come up that often. Now the rest of the deck has Deep Sea Diva, also 1 copy of Paces, which I'm gonna explain in a little bit, and we played the 2 copies Tidal, which is just a nice extender, it's not necessary, and a playset of the Running Again, which is absolutely mandatory. This card is really strong. And as of Kenchops and staples, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash, 2 Important, 2 Cold Buy, and also the 1 for 1, which special summons Hexa Spirit, and this is really good. Now the first card of the extra deck is Deep Sea Repeteur, and this card is really good for 2 reasons. Number 1 is the level 5 Synchro Tuner, and number 2, when it's sent to the graveyard for a Synchro summon, you can actually bring back a level 5 or higher monster to the field. So for example, you can bring back something like Tidal or Running Again or the Georgias, and this could be really beneficial. We have the Coral Dragon. This is just really good card. Now there is also one interesting card you could play. There is a new Bryonak monster that came out. You could technically play this card, although it's not incredibly good, so I just don't consider it a really good card for the deck. There is also 1 copy of Riompos, and this is the point where I'm gonna talk about the Goti engine. This card allows you to banish the Paces, and then on your opponent's turn you can summon either Jiaskan or the White or a Whale. Have a bunch of disruptions, and it's really good paired with Chengin because you can actually go into Chengin, then summon a Riompos, banish Paces, trigger Chengin, then during your opponent's turn you can synchro summon it to Ascan, banish again, trigger Chengin again, you get super powerful Chengin just like that. There's also Dragite, which is your level 8 standard summon. There's also the Trishula with the Trishula 0 Dragon of the Ice Barrier, which are 2 really good monsters, and just basically you float into Trishula after going for one of these 2 guys. Also we have the Ravenous Crocojake, which is a level 9 synchro, that's good. Borneo Fleur, Gimaregarin, the Lancia, which allows you to special summon from the deck any Ice Barrier monster, which is really nice. And we have the 2 copies of the Coral Anemone, and this card is a key feature for the combos. Actually, you're gonna see how it's played out, but without further ado, let's get into the live games. Okay, that's a pretty good hand. Let's start off with the Deep Sea Diva and let's see what we will do. Nothing, the opponent cannot respond with anything. Let's go into the Hexa Spirit, and we're gonna activate Hexa Spirit to dump into the graveyard the Mirror Mage, and that is how the combos completely begin. From there we can just set up a whole bunch of things more, and in fact, because I have this card in my hand, I can actually improve the combo 10 times more. But the key feature is to search out wins over the Ice Barrier. This is what we need. Now let's go activate this. We're gonna be special summoning it, and we're also gonna be bringing back the Mirror Mage. This will let us just not go for the Coral Anemone and not lose additional bodies essentially. So let's go activate the Mirror Mage here. We're going to be shooting the Deep Sea Diva, and we're going to get only 2 tokens instead of 3, which is a little bit nasty, but it's still not the end of the world because we can just tribute the Hexa Spirit. And also the level is actually 4, which is significantly better than level 5 in my case here. So now let's pass summon 3 monsters. We're gonna go for Spellbreaker, we're gonna go for Reviewer, we're gonna go for this one, and this is all we need to just combo off like crazy. So now first of all, we are gonna summon the Lancia using this guy so we can free a little bit of space. Also we're gonna get rid of the Speaker because we can banish it to get a token, and let's summon in the extra monster zone because we do need a bunch of zones to continue. So now we're gonna go activate the Reviewer, And here I am gonna be pitching the Tidal from my hand and special summoning from my deck the Hexa Spirit, because I can do something with that. Now, let's see, what can I banish from my graveyard? Let's go Tidal. We're gonna banish the Hexa Spirit and the Deep Sea Diva, because together with the Hexa Spirit, this will allow me to go into something like Dragite, which is significantly better than nothing, right? It's just a really good card to go into. Okay, so far so good. We are making some progress here. From here, we can activate Speaker to get the additional level 1 token. I'm not sure what I can really go into. Actually, there is one play to go into with that, and that is Ravenous Crocodrake, and that is exactly what I'm gonna do. So this is it. This is actually gonna be the field. We're gonna go +1 with the Ravenous Crocodrake, and this is it. If we top deck Maxi, actually +2, pardon me. This was not very good top deck. Now let's go Spellbreaker. Because we have in the graveyard the Reviewer, we can actually banish it, and that's it. So that's pretty good. Well, okay, that is all we need. This is gonna be no spell cards for my opponent because of Spellbreaker. Lancia is gonna spell summon a Floodgate. This is a spell or trap card negation, and this is a popping effect. Plus the Ash Blossom that I drew. This is really good. Sure, Black Wing banishing the Chinook. I'm not gonna change anything to it because I really can. Now spell summoning to the field the Simoon. And he's gonna go activate the Black Whirlwind, to which I will chain the Ravenous Crocodrake, because I feel like popping that is one of the best plays I can go for. I'm also gonna get rid of the Reviewer, keep the General Wayne. This will limit his resources greatly. Alright, so far so good. Sudri, normal summon. Activate the effect. I am gonna chain... Do I chain Ash Blossom actually to this? We could stop that as well, which means he's gonna rely on only top decks. I guess this is cool as well. We are currently unable to chain the Lancia, unfortunately. I am kind of wanting to chain it, but I can't. Now special summoning this, and I can finally chain the Lancia. Okay, so this is gonna be whenever your opponent resolves a monster effect, the monster effect either gets negated or they discard a card. So this is either way pretty nasty. He's gonna now have to... Okay, he's gonna have to negate its own effect, I guess. Oh no, he actually pitched Max C to stop that. Okay. Well, Synchro Summoning into Armor Master. Very interesting choice, but that is not once per turn. So we're also gonna get an additional summon, which is pretty nasty. Chaining to Wind Shadow. That's, I guess that's cool for him, you know? Alright, returning G Gale and also returning G Chinook, which he banished. I could chain that effect immediately, and I think I should because he doesn't seem to have any more cards activated. So Dragite is gonna come up here, and I will get the special summon of another monster, which will be most likely actually we could go for Trishulus, but does it count like a synchro summon or a special summon? Yeah, it's a special summon, so it doesn't activate the Trishulus effect. In that case, we are just gonna go for the card that negates monster effects in the graveyard. Now he cannot use any graveyard effects now that he really has any, and that's gonna be it. He just has no way of actually comboing off, and yeah, I mean, I squashed Black Wings. I actually squashed the Black Wings. Okay, let's start off with Deep Sea Diva and activate the effect. It is really not cool that I have Paces in my opening hand. I kind of want it in the deck, but anyways, let's pass summon the Hexia here, and we have full combo with just that. Okay, just to note, this was actually really bad because Spellbreaker is in my hand and also the Paces. These two cards needed to be in my deck. Okay, I would have set up 10 times better board with just those two. Activating the Flashing Fire, I am gonna chain Borneo Flare because I want to keep my Lancia. I do think that it's a decent idea to keep it. Now activating Tier Limit Kashira, to which I am not gonna be able to chain anything, unfortunately. Banishing Kashira Overlap, interesting card to play. Activating now the main effect of it and chaining also the Kashira Overlap, and that will negate the effects of my Lancia, which is nasty. But I'm gonna be able to chain it before that, which is really good. It's all I need basically. And let's pass someone from my deck, the General Raikou, which should put some work here. I'm gonna be able to discard a bunch of his cards here. Oh, he chose to actually negate its own effect. Oh, wow. Well, interesting choice. Now summoning G Typhon. Oh, that's a big deal. Okay, we don't like that. All right, now he's gonna banish a monster. By the way, if only I was able to special summon the Spellbreaker instead of the Hexa Spirit, it would have been so much better because I would have negated every single spell card he has. So overall, I just had the poor luck of not having Spellbreaker in my deck. All right, activating also the Slumber here, which I don't really care. And nothing really too good. Now he's gonna shuffle 2 cards, go +2. I can activate Tidal, which I guess it's cool. I can add 1 water monster. Let's add the second copy of Tidal here, which will be a second special summon during our turn. And yeah, I mean, it's not looking too bad, even though my hand was absolutely poo-poo. And it is my turn. He cannot deal with anything. The Raikou does remain on the field as well. I think we can go into Pace's normal summon, and then we can go immediately into the Dragite to protect ourselves from a future spell card activation. He just cooled the game. As I said, even with a bad hand, you can definitely set up a lot of cool things.